Hello! Hi, everyone. So, my name is Edakira. I'm the co-founder of the Black Swimming Association and producer of the Blacks Can't Swim film documentaries. And, obviously, the host of Why We Don't Talk About Swim, which is a conversation we are having on a monthly basis. So, today I have a very special guest. He has been part of the journey from the very beginning. But before I let him introduce himself, I'm going to tell you a little story. We all like stories, don't we? We love stories. So this was in 2020. I was about to release the first film documentary, a film called Blacks Can't Swim. It was a short at the time. I think it was about 35 minutes. So I was having conversations with various different distribution companies, and they said, in order to get the best coverage, it will have to be a feature. And the minimum time was probably going to be it should be about 50 minutes or so. So I said, okay. I went to Mr. X, who is the director of a film called Blacks Can't Swim and all the other film documentaries. And I said, do you have any extra footage whereby we can add to it so that we can get it, increase the length so I can release it as a feature? And he says, the best thing is to, shoot some additional scenes. So I said, okay, that's a good idea. But one thing we didn't have in the film, as anybody who's watched it will know that it's got a documentary and it's a drama, it's got a story to it as well. But we didn't have many young people in there, so we said, yeah, if we can get some young people in there, that would be great. That would be a good idea. So he said, oh, I know the person. There's a group of guys and girls who will be perfect for this. So I said, okay. So we wrote the script. And for the part that we were going to add, it was me walking through an estate wearing my life jacket. And anybody who hasn't watched a film called Blacks Can't Swim, well, shame on you to start off with. But yeah, it's a story about me coming downstairs, put it on television, and on there is the news talking about flooding and a whole heap of rainfall and all that kind of thing. And because I'm scared and I can't swim and I'm paranoid, I go and buy a life jacket and I wear it everywhere I go. So going back to the story. So basically I was walking through this estate and there were these young guys, chilling there, and they saw me and they were like, what's this guy? Is it a bulletproof jacket or something like that kind of thing? So the date was set. Then I had to go to we created the scene, the venue and all that kind of thing. Mr. X told me that you're going to have to be here and then meet the guys and all that kind of thing on set. So I get there and I'm sure they were looking at me like, who is this clown walking around with a life jacket? True. But it went well. It was an amazing journey, amazing scene. And yes, here we are now. So the gentleman in question, the gentleman I'm talking about is none other than Sayso in the house.
Thank you so much, Ed, for having me.
Sayso, make your own, introduce yourself and let people know who you are.
I go by the name of Boy Sayso. I'm a jazz artist. I'm an actor. Just a human being, I would say. It's been a journey, especially you explaining how we first met as well. That was a journey because it was the first time Mr. Rex introduced us to you, and you was wearing the life jacket. So I was quite confused what that was about. And my boy CJ was quite confused as well. And D's doing dots. But for me, it's been a journey, from music to being homeless to appearing in the film Blacks Can't Swim. I just feel like it has given me enough experience to this day that we're here now having a conversation to see how it all started. So the more we talk, the more you get to find out about me.
There's many people who have come up to me and said, and these are young people in general, come up to me and said, as a result of being part of the Blacks Can't Swim journey, it's made me think differently. And in one of the other episodes, I spoke about a young gentleman who said to me that thanks for being part of the journey, he's walked away from knife crime. It's given him purpose. You know, when I started this campaign, when I started this journey, it was about saving lives in water. It was about my own personal journey, because like I said, I always say I've only just recently learned how to swim. So basically it was about encouraging people to be more water safe, water confident. But I later found out that it's also doing other things.
Definitely.
But it's engaging people, by people engaging with it, it's giving them a different purpose in life. So I thought, or I think you, more than anyone else, will have a lot to say about this. So, yeah.
Being involved in the film has helped me in different ways, shape, and form. Whether it's getting me out to places, meeting different people, gaining experience in different industries and in different fields, and most importantly, using it for my own personal life, because I'm an artist and I record music. So the first time starting the film, I stopped swimming from when I came into the country because the weather was too cold. None of my friends were swimming. Everyone was playing football. And there was just no encouragement, and swimming wasn't fun over here. Back home, it's sunny. It's just a lifestyle. And where I'm from in Delta State, we live by the river. So naturally, we're swimmers. But we had fun swimming. It wasn't like, oh, come, let me teach you how to swim, or lane swim, and all this rules and regulation behind swimming over here. So when I came here, it's just, let me just do what other people are doing. Let me just play football, because the water was too cold, and I didn't see people that looked like me there. So I just felt like, this is not for me, I guess. So I might as well do something else. So in doing that and coming over here and getting involved in the film kind of got me back into swimming. And especially going to the RNLI College, that was a great experience for me. And after that, I kind of learned how to control my breath. The pool was different. I've never seen a pool that creates waves, lightning, everything was happening. So I was quite scared, and I felt like I'm not a strong swimmer, so I had to go back home and learn and just keep swimming. So that kind of encouraged me to go back into swimming, and swimming 5 days a week when the film first started to this day has helped me with my breath. So when I'm rapping, when I'm writing music, I can take a deep breath and spit until I run out of breath. And now I can do that longer, but that's only because I can hold my breath underwater for a long time now. So for me, it's helped me in different ways, shape, and form. And swimming is not just, it's not just for you to, how would I explain it? I feel like there's part of the fitness side to it, which I feel like can help people live a longer life, if possible, and save the people around you, because water safety is key. So if you don't have knowledge about water, what happens when we get flooding? And what happens when your child jumps in the pool when you're on holiday and stuff like that? So for me, it's just using it to protect myself, defend myself, and hopefully I can use that moving forward within my life. So swimming it's been a big part of me, I believe. And it's great we're having this conversation. So
let's talk about outside of the water now. So obviously I'm pretty close to you, and I'm pretty close to everything that you do and such. And there's a lot of things happening. But I want us to talk about how this campaign, how the Black Sky Swimming campaign, how what we are doing has actually helped. I won't say helped, but it's you know, it's the journey that you're on, because you're on the journey. How has it affected? Because when I say help, if I say how has it helped, like, it's more as if I'm putting words into your mouth saying that it's been positive and all that kind of thing. It might be negative. But how has it affected your journey outside of the water?
All right. So to start with that, writing the soundtrack to the film Blacks Can't Swim, that was a great opportunity for me because then that made me speak to Bushkin from One Extra. Got played on BBC One Extra as well because of me being involved in the film, which played a great part in my life and in my music career, being the first time I was going to be featured on BBC One Extra. Outside that, the swimming campaign, the whole saving life on land, for me is I can see the benefits, good and bad, in both ways, but most importantly is the people that's been on this journey, which is the people around me, friends, family, the younger people that's been part of this whole journey. Is like you said earlier, you had someone that said to you, he stayed away from knife crime and it saved him. But the question is, where is that person now? Have you encouraged him? Have you given him more opportunities? Do you feel like because of what he saw and he's changed his life, do you feel like that's just it for him? I just feel like within the Blacks Can't Swim is helped in different ways, shape and form, but I just feel like the people that is helping should be followed along their journey whilst they're being helped, because we all need that helping hand all the time. We all need that figure that can correct us when we make mistakes. And us as young people, we can make rational decisions, especially with where the world is going with stress, anxiety, depression, and a lot of people losing friends and family. As a role model, I feel like it would be a good thing because I have a role model in my life personally, and he's with me every step on the way. Like when I'm trying to make the wrong decisions, he's there telling me, all right, you can do that. So he gives me options, right? Which I feel like every young person that has been through this journey need that support. You don't pull back at some point thinking, oh, it's all you now. You got this now. And no, you still have more experience than us as a role model and as an older person. You've been here longer than us. So we will always need your advice at some point, whether we were ignorant at the start, but at some point we see the light within what you're talking about. And that's where I feel like within this journey hasn't happened.
So basically, so what I'm saying here is that there's been inspiration, there's been direction from various different, to the various different people. But what is required is continuous.
Yeah.
So basically, what I see is that we need people, we need organizations.
Yeah.
Remember, the organizations that can be there to inspire people that to continuously inspire people, to mentor people, you see. And remember when I said at the beginning of the conversation, it wasn't part of the agenda.
Yeah.
For when I was setting up Blacks Can't Swim, it was all about swimming. But through some way or the other, it started to inspire people to do great things. That I can do that. Basically, this is another direction in life that I can take. So, as much me as one person, I would like to inspire, follow, direct, mentor throughout that person's journey. It's practically impossible because, like I said, I always say I have a day job, and this is just part. This is something I do. Even though probably people will probably say, "How do you do that?" Because basically, this is something I do in the evenings and weekends.
Okay.
But the reason why I brought up this conversation and I talked about saving lives in and out of water is that I've spoken to a lot of people who have said exactly the same thing as what you've just said. We need more people to incentivize us. We need people. We did a song together. Can't be what you can't see.
Yeah.
And which is true. If you see someone that looks like you, feels like you, has the same ideology as you, and you look up to that person, you follow what that person does. But it has to be a continuous thing. It has to be a continuous journey. So, do you think there's organizations out there, And when I say organizations, I'm talking about campaigns like the Black Can Swim campaign. I'm talking about organizations, big organizations out there that have a duty to do something about this. And it doesn't have to be, like I say, it doesn't have to be swimming. It doesn't have to be just about swimming. It just happens that what we're talking about now is swimming, but it can be anything. It could be football. It could be art. It could be catering. But do you think there's organizations out there that have a duty to the youth out there to mentor them, to follow them, to give them direction and such?
That's a good question. Is there an organization? I feel like
Do you think is it the duty? Is it their duty?
it's not. It's not no one's responsibility. You being here, coming from your parents, is you, right? You've chosen your life. You're here living your life. I believe that we have an older generation that understand how certain things works, and we have certain organizations that understand how certain things work. So with that, you can guide the young generation. You can guide the next generation. You can pick out, all right, let's just say example, we was in the film Blacks Can't Swim. It was loads of us at the start, if you watched the first one. But the question is, over the time, what's happened? Why did certain people pull back and why did certain people move forward? If I look at myself, for example, I will always keep pushing because that's just who I am, right? And because of that, I will keep pushing, but also knowing that I have someone that's guiding me. Because sometimes I've nearly lost track, right? Because I'm not perfect. And he's always there. It's not like he's going to leave me where it's like, oh, Sayso, just do it. Because I feel like he understands that he's been a youth before. He's been young. He's experienced certain things probably similar to what I've experienced, which he knows. Just take your time. Just read more. Just study more. Just the positive side to that is having reassurance. And sometimes a lot of young people don't have the reassurance from family, from friends. And that's all it takes sometimes. It's not like it's a duty for you to do. It's just reassuring someone that you believe in. Like, you've always been part of my journey as well. So now and then I'll give you a call to be like, oh, how do you do your promotion on Twitter? How do you do this? Just to figure it out. And you give me your own advice and I do my own thing. But not everyone is like me. Not everyone is like you. Everyone has, outside having a 9-to-5, all right, we're here to be, I don't know, you're here to be a doctor, a lawyer. That's what you've programmed your mind to be. That's what you want to do, which is great. But the bigger picture, we're here for a reason and for a purpose. It's not the physical things right now. It's more to do with the mental side, mental health, people's personal well-being, how they're going through their day-to-day life. Are you checking on your neighbors? Have you eaten? Have you got a roof over your head? Just the basics of that is what kind of would encourage you to keep going. And that's what I feel like people lack now. People feel like, no, like I say, it's the selfish act. You're just focused on self and it's just all about self, which is good. But when you get to a certain level within your life, it's like, I can look outside now and help the next generation and be like, when do I sit back and when do I move forward? How do I sit back and see who I can actually, I don't know, see as the next Fela Kuti, the next Malcolm X, the next Bob Marley, all this type of things I feel like is coming from the older generation, guiding different artists to be who they are, how they are, and what they do.
Okay, really, really good explanation. I agree and disagree with a few things. But that's why we're having this conversation.
Yeah, it's a conversation.
Yeah, so
it's not for you to agree with. So
let's talk about it. So I do think there is a duty of care for various different organizations. And I think it is a level, some level of responsibility. And when I say that is, the reason why I'm saying that is there's many organizations out there that I have heard that, oh, we want young kids, or we want young youth, or we want this kind of people to do A, B, C, D, or whatever. And they do it. They come there and they cool them. They build them up. They give them the inspiration. They give them everything. I'm not saying that that's what I did with Black Cow Swim, because that was definitely not the case. But they build them up and they give them the inspiration, and then they just leave them dry. Yeah. Once they finished everything, they've got what they want.
Yeah.
Because the reason why they wanted the youth is for whatever reason, whatever their motivation to get into youth, to come on board. There's, every organization is different, and every organization has its own different, shall I say, motivational reasons for doing things.
Yeah.
But then they get what they want, and they leave them. They move on. And I think that if you have taken someone from out of, not necessarily out of the gutter, but you've taken them out of certain environment, and then you've shown them that this is a life that you can, these are the things, then you have some kind of duty of care to make sure it not continues, but get them to a place where they can be on their own. Yeah. When I started the Black Cow Swim campaign, and like I said, it was, and I keep on saying this, it was never my agenda to be a mentor or inspiration or a role model to anyone. It was just my personal journey, and just as it happens, I managed to attract various different people, and various different people came on the journey. And one thing I've always said from the very beginning is that this is a self-funded project. Yeah. So my day job funds everything I do. Mm-hmm. So I can't go out there and hire actors, musicians, and things to do various different things, because, like I said, it's all self-funded. And there's only so much money that I can throw towards this campaign. Yeah. But what I do say is that it's a platform for anybody that's on this. It's a platform for them to be able to use it for their own personal journey. Okay. You've done that. Yeah. One or two others have done that, but there's others who have been there and they haven't utilized what they have achieved and they just falls by the wayside. So, in hindsight, would I have done anything different? I don't think I could have done anything different, because, like I said, I am not a person I'm not a mentor, as in, it's not my skill set to take people and mentor them and this and that. But there's people out there that do it. I can give advice and I can do this and I can show you the way, but you have to want to be able to do it yourself.
Which is true, but when you've taken on a path, right, you don't know what's down that road.
That's right.
So you might walk down this wilderness and you haven't been told, like you said, this was just you trying to do stuff. You chose a path, right? And in this path, there are good things and bad things and consequences and decision makings and things that will pop up whilst you're walking on this path, right? And it's for you to pay attention, stay focused, listen and trust your instincts. Yep. So if you started it for a reason, well, you probably never knew that this was going to be bigger than you. Oh, hell so you never... You never anticipated on certain things that was coming your way. So you just felt like, I'm just going to put my head down and run my race, right? But in looking down, at the same time, you got to also look up to see what's trending, what's new, what's happening. How do I kind of like maneuver and like in this path and on this path that you've chosen? It's not because you made a decision to get on this path now. That's all it is.
And that's why that's why you're sitting here today.
Yeah. And for me, I'll still go back to I am who I am. So with work and keeping my work consistent, things are going to fall out the sky, regardless. So being here and having this platform is a good thing. But let's just say, for example, I was in the film, the first one, the second one, and something happened to Sayso. I couldn't make music. I couldn't do certain things. What you just be like, oh yeah, use someone else. Oh yeah, Sayso. Probably Sayso is doing whatever he's doing, and I'll just, like you said, you're just trying to set a platform. But in terms of checking up on Sayso now, Sayso, like, what's going on with you? Like, how is it going? Like, what's happening? You've been in the film, you wrote the first soundtrack. If you don't do that, I'm just saying I am who I am because I'm here. But I'm just saying for a second, things happened because things happened on the way. After the first one and the second one, if I wasn't in the right space to push forward, what would you have done as you have in your platform?
As someone who, shall I say, who's invited you to be part of the journey. Remember, I've invited you to be part of the journey. And so it's my duty as someone, as like I say, someone who's, I wouldn't say a mentor, because I never signed up to be a mentor. As a friend, it's my duty to make sure that everyone around me I'm in contact with everyone around me. Mm-hmm. People like yourself who've been, like you said, in the first film, in the second film.
The third one, the book.
Exactly, in the third one, it's my duty to make sure that everything is cool. And like I said, I don't like putting words into your mouth. What do you think I would have done?
That's what I'm saying. I'm just asking because I'm here. I am who I am, and I'm here, and it's happening. But based on what you said earlier in regards to one or two or a few people made it out, but there are other kids that's quite younger than me that was involved in the film that I believe could have received more support.
Support from whom?
From organizations that were under. It could be. We didn't sign nothing or whatever it is, but we're looking up to certain individuals here. All right, you were in the film, right? And example, we can say the Javel, the Jones, and the little guys that was in the film. And they're looking up to, example, Sayso. I fully know well, I'm older. They're looking up to me. I'm an artist. I make music that they like. So if I was to wear this outfit, I know in a couple of days' time, they're inspired to wear certain things. So I already know, all right, I inspire the next generation, and I'm trying to inspire more.
Say so. Okay, so this conversation is real talk.
Yeah.
So we're having real talk, and I made it very clear from the beginning that there's going to be uncountable conversations had, and that's what keeps this going. Now, keeps the conversation going. It has to be, we have to poke the bear. Yeah. And that's why we're having this conversation. And I'd like to reiterate that for the for the purpose of the audience, that there always will be difficult conversations.
So
before you go on, so basically the question that I'm asking here is right, and I want you to be brutally honest, and I know you are, and you always will be. The Joneses, and bear in mind, this is this, and I'll tell you exactly how this happened. So, I had a part for A, B, C, D, E in the film.
Yeah.
Right. I remember this time. I remember I said, and I categorically said that I didn't sign up to be an inspiration. I'm doing a film. It's all about swimming, and then I wanted people to play a certain part. Mm-hmm. So I went to a certain gentleman who is a very big part of the campaign and everything. And I said, and he's been on the show, Mr. Michael Wallace, Kickoff at 3. And I said, Michael, I want someone to play a part of A, B, C, D, and E. Do you know anyone who? And he said, yes, I've got the great guys. So he introduced me to these gentlemen. I told them exactly. I introduced them to Mr. Rex, who's the director. We spoke about the parts. He told them exactly what part he wants to play and that kind of thing. So in a real life, right, in a real environment, they came, they played the part, and then finished, and then they moved on to whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
Right? Somewhere along the line, what we did inspired them so much that, wow, this is what I do. I can change, I can do this, I can do that kind of thing. So my question is, based on this particular story, whose responsibility is it to follow them, make sure that their journey continues, make sure they're inspired, and make sure they don't go back to their old ways? Whose responsibility is it?
It's still going to be down to the parents. The parents are key, part of their whole lives, and always will be that. I get what you're trying to say, and I understand the responsibility part of it. I have someone in my life that is not even my dad, but he plays a big role in my life, right? So, and I look up to him, and he knows I look up to him. So, I don't know, there's just a certain format to how certain things started, and I would not change that format. And now, till death, I just feel like there is certain knowledge that's been restricted from us as young people, and the older people holds key to certain knowledge, I believe. So if I can tap into the older generation, then I'm able to tap into certain knowledge, right? So for me, it's just a format. It's like, I don't know, everyone has different formats, and everyone has people that they trust and who they trust and who they like. And
but there's wrong and there's right.
Yeah, there's wrong and there's right. Yes. I just feel like some young people are quite naive. And they're vulnerable. Quite vulnerable. So if you show them this house, for example, for the first time, and they walk in here, they're inspired. They want similar stuff. It's like, they look up to Frank, they look up to Ed. But the question is, how do you keep these people looking up to you? How do you keep that going till death? How do you do? It's not, you don't want them to pull out. It's the young people are the energy, right? We bring the drive. We're changing the narrative. We're doing a lot of things. So if I've walked into this house and I've seen how beautiful this house is, I don't know what you're thinking, but you can tell I'm inspired by how you live, what your tech you do. I want to get into it. I want to learn what you. Yeah. The question is, you're trying to. Probably have your Stormzy. The more Stormzy gets bigger, the more his team probably gets bigger. The more I get bigger, the more you get bigger. The more you get bigger, the more I get bigger. It's just that. But the question, how do you see this within the young people? Do the older generation see this within the young people? Or do they just see what they have going on over there? And they just feel like, all right, as long as you come on this platform and speak, things should be... No, it don't work that way.
No, of course it doesn't. It has to be inspiration. There has to be continuous conversation.
And I feel like for the people that's inspiring people is... How do you keep inspiring people? How do you keep them there? That's just me. Me making music, I would not, from drill to jazz, I'm inspiring a whole next generation. I would not now go back to make drill music. That is delusional. It's like, it don't make no sense. So my whole thing is, how do I keep growing, healing, so the people that's coming to me stays, and the younger generation stays and pick up, and they can have fun doing it. Like, I'm not forcing you to elevate. I'm not forcing you to grow. Like, take your time, study, work hard, make your mistakes, have your own experience. It's just, it's fun. It's more free to have, I don't know, to show people ways of life in that way than to to be forcing it on them type of stuff.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is, how do you keep the young people around you?
How and I would say, how do you keep the young generation, the young people incentivized? How do you keep them motivated? How do you keep them positive? Because they are facing so many challenges out there on a daily basis. There are so many good people out there. There are so many good kids, but due to certain circumstances, they've fallen down by the wayside for whatever reason there is. So we need, and I don't have the answers to that. I know, yeah, and I always say that I never have the, I don't have the, I don't, you know, that's why we're having a conversation. That's why this is a discussion. You know, we are provoking the conversation out there. There's a lot of things out there. There's an elephant in the room, and then we talk about it.
And it goes back down to even what you said in regards to certain organizations get what they want from young people and then move on, and that's where the problem is. Is I don't know why you move on. I don't know if
the reason why
it's brighter days for you now, better days, or you've got your funding or whatever it might be. But they change the format, and whoever changes the format, things starts to go downhill until you figure out what it is, or you go back to basics and understand how to reshape your stuff. But that's what I've understood in regards to different organizations. It's like, if I say the community is holding us back, it is holding us back for a reason. But I don't know. I just feel like being part of a certain community would not be me. I just rather grow in my own way, have fun, go out, make music, just do things that's more creative. Where it's like, I'm not just in a box type of thing. So that's why I feel like the older generation and the people, whoever you are, inspiring people, you're whatever you are, how do you keep inspiring the next generation? It's just how you just need to ask yourself that question. It's not like, I have a platform and I have this but what would make Sayso keep looking at me constantly? Because if you do not keep doing the works, at some point I'll come off it.
Yeah.
So that's just a question for you.
For the sake of the audience, we're using the Blacks Can't Swim as an example. So everything we're talking about is not about the Blacks Can't Swim, but we're talking about the general conversation, and that's why we're using it as an example. And because obviously I have a platform, and I have worked with a number of young adults, and I have given them inspiration, and I've given them the direction. But there's a lot of organizations out there that inspire. There's a lot of campaigns out there that inspire youth, and basically it takes them down the journey and maybe just doesn't go further. Maybe it's not fault of the organization, it's not fault of the campaign, it's not fault of the youth, but there should be something out there. There should be a way whereby they can continue to grow, and that's why we're having this conversation. And there's organizations out there who purposely attract young adults for their marketing purposes, and because they say, we all know that if you get the youth involved, then you get a wider audience, and they have the youth, they do what they want to do, and then they're not seen for dust. So it's a conversation we're having, and that's the reason why we're having it. So it's just
like organization would rather. All right, let's say an organization that's starting from scratch, right? You're working hard. You've got people around you, a team that's supporting you. And at some point, you can see the light within your team. And then at some point, you start to either look for, let's say you need a promo done or whatever it is. Now you can invest in like a Jay Haas, a Stormzy, a Steph London. Like one of this big stuff, thinking that your stuff will be big, but they don't care about what you got going on. The people that's around you has always been there, will always care about what you got going on. That's just how it is. But people like the gas, people like the excitement. So they would rather go for the big artist and pay that big artist, let's say 50 grand to help push my work. But when it's time to either come to the premiere to support the young people around there, this person is not to be found. That means what have you done?
Yeah.
You've just spent money thinking, but the real people are in front of you, and you can't be what you can't see. So I just feel like there's a lot of organization. I'd rather go to the mainstream people than work with the young people they have to try and grow them, nurture. As an artist, I've been growing, I've been developing as an artist, and it's taken a minute from 2020, from drill to jazz, and it's 2023. I'm still growing, I'm still healing. It's a process, there's a process to it. And the process is what people don't want to go through. The people don't want to see the process of someone. Why would no, I mean, I can just pay someone else to get this stuff done instead of you investing in what you're seeing and grow what you have. And then at some point, this person could be, he's still looking up to you. Like, he will mention your name in any location or place. That's what it's like living. Bob Marley's not here. Fela Kuti's not here. But based on the people that they've helped and pioneered the whole generation and the whole sound, they will keep speaking about them. And that's what makes them live on. It's like when you go to the library and you see the books, that's what...
The legacy.
That's
I always
what
talk about it. It's a legacy. We're building. I mean, none of us are going to live forever.
Yeah.
You know, but it's what you build. You know, the legacy you build and what you leave behind for it to continue.
Yeah.
And it's what we talk about in education and other kinds. You know, it's education. It's not acknowledgement of what is out there. You know, what we can achieve and other kind of thing. So what do we take away from this? There's like I said, there's organizations out there that can do a lot better. And full transparency in that kind of thing. If you're working with a group of people, and you look at, you know, you got to look further than just, I'm just working with them, and then I'm going to move on. I'm going to do something else. The next week, I'm going to find some other people to do something else with in that kind of thing. You're going to have to understand it's more, and especially when what you're doing is community driven. Yeah. You know, I mean, if it's a corporate organization that puts an ad out there for, for 5 people that look a certain way to play a certain part, that's a different story altogether. Yeah. But when it's community driven and there's inspiration, then it has, we all have a duty of care to look further than what we are, just that particular, project or particular space. Yeah. And such. So it's a good talk.
You've
good
got
chat.
Loads of records here and music.
Well, I live for music. You know that.
Stuff, so
yeah. We've done a number of songs together.
Yeah.
We did the soundtrack to
Why We Don't Talk
About Swim, and I just love your verse. And I kept. I said to Mr. Rex, I said, "Oh my God!" When I heard that, I was like, "Wow!" I can see the progress. I can see how you've grown as an artist. Through the change, I can see. Obviously you're yourself, so you know how you've changed and all that. But I can see, starting from afar, I can see, and people always say to me, "Wow, Sayso,
Thank you.
It's moving in such an amazing direction, And I know
and
things
it's
like,
the guidance, it's the partnership, it's the relationship, it's the connection, it's like a guide. It's like when someone is, whether the person is not there, but you feel like the person is there. It's a connection. So that's how I feel when I'm working with my producer. It's just whether he's not there, I make it feel like he's there. Yeah, so when I'm spitting, how do I write? It's like, what perspective am I gonna come from? So with Why We Don't Talk About Swim was more of why don't we talk about what it means to me? And for me, it's like, we don't talk about swim because it's not fun. It's not what it is as when I first done Blacks Can't Swim, the journey. That was fun. Yeah. That was like authentic. That was real. That was just like inspirational. Like, I don't know, like it was inspiring in different ways. And moving forward, I don't know, it became too much. It just felt like we lost touch and we lost connection with, I don't know, something happened. Something that I just can't pinpoint. Probably years from now we'll understand why. But there were just certain things I just wasn't right from the second one to the third one, and probably the format changed, which I feel like you said, it's community driven. It's supposed to be based in community, and how the first one was done, just even talking about the pizza, like setting scenes within the films, within the documentaries that were done, setting subject matters, was what I believe is meant to be. But moving forward, I definitely lost touch. A lot of the people, my friends, lost touch with swimming, with the whole narrative, and that's what we're here to talk about. It's just, why did we lose touch? And that's the question where I asked, how do you, as someone inspiring people and having a platform, how do you keep people and the young people looking at you, looking at this platform, whether it's young, middle-aged, old? How do you keep people looking over here? And that's just something I feel like every individual.
Yep.
Because I asked myself that question.
I always say, a lot of people I'm a co-founder of the Black Swimming Association, which was co-founded by myself, with Daniel Obey, Seren Jones, and Alice Deering. That's the first organization set up to highlight the importance of water safety and drowning prevention within the African, Caribbean, and Asian communities. And the relationship between Blacks Can't Swim and the Black Swimming Association, even though to most people in the world out there, it's one and the same thing. It's two separate entities. The Blacks Can't Swim film documentaries, or the campaign, highlights the issue of water safety, drowning prevention, and other kind of thing within the communities. And then the Black Swimming Association, which is a charity, works with our partners to address the issue. So Blacks Can't Swim highlights the issue. The Black Swimming Association addresses the issue. The reason why I set up the Blacks Can't Swim campaign is to use various mediums to get to parts which are hard, which no, they're not hard to reach, but the sector has deemed them hard to reach. And I use music. I use films.
Yeah.
I use podcasts. So I go to places where the sector sometimes finds it very hard to go to by using music. And like making songs about swimming, water safety, making film documentaries about that, and such. So for me to be able to continue my journey, I have to continue using formats and mediums that the audience that I'm trying to get to understand. So if I want to speak, and I'll say that the majority of the people that I deem as my core audience are people who are high at risk when it comes to water safety and drowning. 95% of Black adults, we always say 95% of Black adults and 80% of Black children in England do not swim. Many of these people are not on the radar. Basically, the sector are not on their radar. So RNLI can put out whatever adverts they want to put out. Swim England, all these swim sites, they can put out all these adverts. But because these people are not seeing them, they don't actually see these. They won't see these adverts because it's not on their radar.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. Why we do what we do? Because the music that we put out gets heard by those 80% of children that do not swim. It gets heard by those 95% of Black adults that do not swim. And therefore, we start that conversation with them. And then by having that conversation with them, we highlight it to the sector, and the sector gets involved and starts having a conversation. And then what we do, we're saving lives. So for what we're doing here, it's so important that we keep on doing it and, in progressing, so that we can continue having those conversations with those at-risk people.
And that's what you're saying is true, but when was the last time You heard from the community.
Every single day. I'm speaking to one right now.
Great. I'm just saying the sector that you just spoke about.
The sector is a different thing. I am not part of the sector.
Okay.
You remember
Okay.
that?
Yeah.
I am part of the community. I am not part of the
Because
sector.
it's all about bridging the gap,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And with bridging the gap, like I said, is the format. If I look at Blacks Can't Swim, the journey, that had a good reception. If I everything has had good reception, but you know when you have your hitters record and stuff. The first one, I don't know. I just probably think I have a different creative mind, but I just feel like it was more for the community, with the community. And I feel like with that, they're able to see what's happening with the community, whether it's through music, films, social media, in any platform. It should just still be about the community. And I feel like right now, the community is losing touch with those sectors. Like you say, you're not part of it. But if I go swimming now, there's still a lot of changes that still needs to be made. We still need to see more young people in swimming. They still need to learn about water safety. A lot of people still haven't heard about the narrative Blacks Can't Swim. And for us, it's continuously pushing, like you say, in every way, shape and form. But this requires the young generation to be part of this sector, to be invested in, to be inspired by. If not, whatever you do would just, at the end of the day, water down, and someone else might have to just carry on and find a different way of reaching out to the community. But yeah, this is a platform, and it's a good thing. But I just feel like there's still work. The work continues, right? The work continues.
This is a journey. This is a generation-long journey issue.
Yeah.
So we have to continue. We have to continue having these conversations. We have to continue trying to reach those that you reach. Shall I say, the youth, adults, everyone having the conversation. We have to continue making it accessible.
Yeah.
We have to continue working with the sector. And I personally think that the sector has a lot to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
It's like as individuals, there's only so much we can do. And hence the reason why on the pilot podcast of why we don't talk about swim, I asked the question, whose responsibility is it to drive the narrative? What we do, and you are part of the Blacks Can't Swim campaign.
Yeah.
And you know that. There's only so much we can do.
True.
With the resources that we have, right? And if someone told me 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, that we'll be sitting on here having a podcast related to the Blacks Can't Swim journey, I would say, you're having a laugh. I'd never expected it to get this far. But it's only by having the conversation that we do and what we do that makes it, makes us get, So we just have to keep on pushing, addressing issues along the way, because there will always be issues. That's why we're having these kind of conversations. But we just have to keep on doing it. And it gets to a point whereby sometimes you say to yourself, and I get that point. I wake up in the morning and go, why am I doing this? I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I've got to work 9 to 5 every single day, to pay for my mortgage, to put food on the table. And sometimes I look at my friends who don't have extracurricular activities, and I say to myself, I want to be like him. I just want to finish work and just go sit down and watch TV. But no, I'm preparing for this. I'm preparing for the podcast. Yeah. I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But we're doing it for a purpose.
Definitely.
So,
and that's what it is.
Yeah. So Sayso, tell us, tell the audience what's happening out there. I know there's a lot of things happening in the new year and such.
Well, for me,
you, man. We want to hear all about what's going on.
Things have been falling out the sky since 2020, I believe. Or I'll say since I was born. But next year's a lot is coming from being involved in this podcast, the rum industry, because I'm trying to marinate rum and music together to see how that goes. And for me is continuously inspiring, saving lives within my field. So having my own show next year is my focus right now. So because I believe my music is gonna heal the world. It's gonna heal people now and years to come. So I'm trying to just be focused mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually to make sure I deliver next year. So hosting my first show next year around April, May is my focus of trying to get my music to the world. So, and going from drill to jazz has been a lot of experience, has been a lot of journey. I've lost a lot of people on the way. So this journey is not just all about me. It's about how I can help the next generation in a whole different way, like inspire them in a whole different way. And being in the film, Blacks Can't Swim, like I was saying to you the other day, someone messaged me online to say they were looking for a film. This is someone I haven't spoken to in like 10 years. Messaged me to say, oh, I see you on Amazon, saw your face about Blacks Can't Swim. I'm a swim teacher now, and I was online looking for a film to watch in regards to swimming. And he came across Blacks Can't Swim, and he saw my face, and he's like, no, they actually have a film about swimming. So for me, is making sure I'm involved in things that can help people mentally, physically, emotionally, and hopefully they grow within whatever they do. So I like to pioneer stuff. I like to start things afresh. And that's what I'm doing with my journey now. So my music next year is just to, heal the world and make the world a better place, hopefully. So, yeah.
And I hope I'm going to be part of that journey.
Yeah. Because my whole thing is, and to the young generation, is I want you to experience certain things I've experienced in this journey. Like, been on the red carpet with Frank and a few big stars. You got Alistair and a few. Like, if people can come out to meet those people and whatever you do, you come out, you have a good time drinking rum, having a good conversation, networking in a different way, shape, and form. That's the experience I want to give you. I want to give you my own experience of what has Sayso been doing for the past 10 years. Well, come out on this day and see what Sayso I've been doing. So it will be sponsored by a lot of people.
Good. I can never get my head around when you say oh, the young people, because you are the young people.
Yeah.
So I look at you. So when you say young people, I'm like,
When you've been, like you said, there's a responsibility. When you've been given a responsibility to do higher works, are cool. It's just like, it's beyond you, because sometimes you can't see the air we breathe, but it's important. So for me is knowing that I'm here to play a role. Like you said, we're all here to play a part, and in my role, I haven't auditioned for it. I've got no script. It's not scripted. It's just guidance and protection and energy. That's what it is for me. So hopefully, I know the world is moving towards that direction. A lot of people have been feeling a type of way, have been going through stuff within a short period of time. So whether it's the bills, losing friends, mums died, virus here, COVID there's like, it's too much for people to actually comprehend now. So my music is for you to feel lighter within yourself and make better decisions within yourself, because it's helping me heal over the time, and that's what it is. Healing process could take up to 7 years, 10 years, depending on how you are as a human being. But I'm happy for the people around me, the role models around me that's been supporting me in every way, shape, and form. And yeah, that's what it is. With your help, we will heal the world.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for coming on While We Don't Talk About Swim. It's been amazing talking to you. Always,
it's been a good conversation.
We have conversations, off and on podcast. So basically, the conversations will continue, and all the best in the future.
Thank you for having me. And we don't talk about swim, but we are talking about swim.
Hey.